Bless you. Well, hello. Whoa. Good to have you here tonight. Fabulous. If you got your husband here, congratulations. Now, if you had to drag him here kicking and screaming against his will, just let it go. All right, you have to understand, ladies, we men, we hate these things. We do. Most men rate marriage seminars right up there with rectal exams. You know. Something you know you got to do, but you don't want to do, but you know what I'm saying. But it's all right, guys. This is not one of these marriage events that beats up on men for not being women. Yeah, whoa. Of course, you women egg this on. All you got to do is ask most women to describe their ideal man. Listen to them. They will describe another woman. Someone who's sensitive, likes to go shopping, la, la, la. They describe their favorite girlfriends. But men make terrible girlfriends. We can, however, make great men. Come on, boys, give me a hooah. That's a man's amen right there. We are not broken, sick, disgusting perverts. We're just men. Hooah. That's what I'm talking about, so gonna be good. Can you give me more monitor in this thing? Oh, I don't know who does that in the back or anything. Anyway, so we're excited about being here. You know, I do these conferences. I preach in churches and stuff. I also I do a lot of stuff for corporate entities. These corporations call me up and offer me a ridiculous amount of money to come talk to their people. I think, well, it's great. So I got a call from Burger King. I did. They said, we will fly you and your wife to the Caribbean, 5-star hotel. We'll pay for everything. We'll give you an obscene amount of money to talk for an hour. Would you come? I said, let me pray about it. Yes. And hallelujah. You know. So I come to this thing, and I'm waiting for my turn to talk. One person after another talking about burgers, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then just before I come up, they say, we want to introduce our next speaker, a guy by the name of Greg Stubbe. He's a Special Forces soldier. This guy stands up. He's in his uniform. He gets up, and he starts telling this incredible story. He was involved in one of the longest firefights to date in Afghanistan. This thing went on like 7 days a night. It was just wild. There were 30 guys or whatever up against 2,500 Taliban. And the story is really dramatic. I think they're working on a movie version of it now. But so anyway, he's telling this story. He says, you know, a lot of the guys have gotten hurt. One guy had been killed. He's on the 50 cal. He's on the final day. And all of a sudden, his Humvee takes a direct hit. Boom. Knocks him out. He says when he came to, he was on the ground, his face in the sand, and he pulls up. Takes him a second to figure out what's going on. They're still shooting at him. He said, I looked down, and he says, my intestines are hanging outside of my body. He said, I grabbed my intestines and I stuffed them back in. And he pulls himself to cover. I mean, this is an unbelievable story. This guy would not give up. They finally prevail. And then they medevac him out of there, and of course they all thought he was a goner. He said, I refuse to die. And he started to tell this just incredible story. He gets back to Ramstein Air Force Base. He said, I've had a lot of surgeries. He said, honestly, he said, I don't look very good naked. He says, I got holes all over me and stuff. But he tells us, anyway, when he gets done, this room full of men and women jump to their feet, tears streaming down their faces, standing ovation. And I'm thinking, oh, good grief. Who put this guy in front of me? So after everybody regained their composure, they said, okay, now our next speaker, Mark Gungor. And I got up there and I said, whoa, that's a tough act to follow. So the only thing I have in common with this guy is apparently neither one of us looks very good naked. So sometimes you follow some very strange speakers, but we're not going to have that problem tonight. We're going to set our own atmosphere tonight. We're going to do a little bit of music just for a few minutes here, kind of get everybody in the mood. We have a wonderful friend who travels with us whenever we can. We don't get her very often, but we got her to come to Nashville with us tonight. She's a fabulous friend, a great jazz musician. She's performed all over the United States and Europe, was just in Africa, just finished a tour recently in the Soviet Union. I said, Janet, come down to Nashville with us, do some songs, put them all in the mood. Would you please welcome Miss Janet Planet?
so that I can hardly speak. And I seem to find the happiness I seek when we're out together, dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, I'd love to go out fishing on an ocean or a creek, but it wouldn't thrill me half as much as dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, I'd love to climb a mountain and reach the highest peak, but it wouldn't thrill me half as much as dancing cheek to cheek. Come on and dance with me. I want my arms about you. The charms about you will carry me through to heaven. I'm in heaven, and the cares that hung around me through the week, they seem to vanish like a gambler's lucky streak. When we're out together, give it up for Mark Gungor on the piano, ladies and gentlemen, this evening. Come on and dance with me. I want my arms about you. The charms about you will carry me through to heaven. I'm in heaven, and the cares that hung around me through the week, they seem to vanish like a gambler's lucky streak. When we're out together, dancing, out together, dancing, cheek to cheek. This is a famous song that I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, will recognize, and it's been done by many people for a reason, because it is a song about hope. Somewhere over the rainbow way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow. Why, oh, why can't Thank you very much. Since this weekend is all about love, I'd like to do a version of an old Bill Withers tune for you right now. I hear the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you sometime, I'm gonna spend some time with you. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I. La da da la da bla da 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 bla da 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 do ya ba ba da ba ba da 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 bla da da ba ba do ya. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it don't make no flowers grow. Well, love might come to those who wait, but not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. The two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I. La da ba ba ya. Do la ba da ba ba ya. Do la ba da ba ba ya. Ya. Love has made us grow into a flower, don't you know? Only the water has to flow to help us to see that in the garden of our lives, only the beauty will survive when we kill the hate inside that tries to conceal our faithful rise above. Only the beauty that is love will keep us strong enough. You've got to believe. I hear the crystal raindrops fall on the window down the hall, and it becomes a morning dew. And darling, when the morning comes and I see the morning sun, I'm gonna spend some time with you. Just the two of us. Well, we can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. The two of us. Building castles way on high. Just the two of us. You and I. Just the two of us. Well, we can make it if we try. We've got to get it together. Get it together. Just the two of us. Building our castles way on high. You and I. La da da, da bla da da, da da, bla da da, da da, do ya? Ba da ba ba da da, bla da da, da da, bla da da, da da, do ya? One of those classics for a reason, made famous by the great Etta James. At last, my love has come along, and my lonely days are over. The skies above are blue. Well, my heart was wrapped up in clover the night that I looked at you. Well, I found a dream that I could speak to, a dream that I had never known. I found a thrill to press my cheek to, a thrill that I could call my own. Then you smiled, and the spell was cast. And here we are in heaven, for you are mine at last. Well, I found a dream that I could speak to, a dream that I had never known. I found a thrill to press my cheek to, a thrill that I could call my own. Then you smiled, then you smiled, and the spell was cast. And here we are in heaven, for you are mine at last. You are mine at last. Thank you very much.
Janet Planet! Yeah! That girl can sing. And the piano player's good looking. All right, let's get started, shall we? Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a little bit different than most relationship speakers in America today. Most relationship speakers have PhDs. Dr. So-and-so, Dr. So-and-so, and Dr. And they have A, B, C, D, E, F, G's behind their name. I don't have any of that. The only initials behind my name are PR, which stands for Puerto Rican. Got any Latinos here tonight? Ah, gracias Dios. Bienvenido. Ayúdame con esos gringos, huh? Just saying how good it is to be with so many white folk. That's all we're saying. People say Gungor. What kind of Puerto Rican name is Gungor? Actually, I was born in Rodriguez, but I wasn't born on the island of Puerto Rico. My parents were born on the island of Puerto Rico. I was born on the island of Manhattan, where most Puerto Ricans come from, actually. And when I was very young, my parents got a divorce because they could not agree. My father wanted to have girlfriends. My mother could not agree. It was a communication problem. Anyway, she divorced his sorry butt and then married another guy a few years later by the name of Gungor, hence the name change. You say, well, if you're not a PhD, then what's your deal? My background actually is I'm a pastor. I pastor a church in Green Bay, Wisconsin, the exact center. Ooh, there we go. Go back, go back, go back. Anyway, if you're not much of a religious person, don't let that make you nervous. Some of my biggest fans are heathens. I'm looking for my clicker. What did I do? I leave it on the piano over there? Anyway, so this is not, even though I'm a pastor and this is in a church and stuff, this is not one of these events that we sneak into church. and then hammer you over the head with a Bible when you're not expecting that. We're not going to do that to you. Having said that, however, I do want to begin with a Bible verse, because I have found the perfect Bible verse for marriage. That if you follow the advice from this single Bible verse, you will never, ever, ever have a problem in marriage. 100% guaranteed. How many think that's worth looking at? You follow the advice from this one Bible verse, you will never have a problem in marriage. Hallelujah. Say, well, that's just terrible. Why would the Bible say that? Because he goes on to explain that he who marries will have trouble in this life. Look, marriage is hard, but anything worth having is hard. The truth is, what your spouse does may very well irritate you until the day you die. The good news is, you die. Hang on, baby, that's coming. I can feel it. One more Bible verse, and then I'll leave you alone. But you may not be able to understand this very complicated portion of Scripture because you don't have the advanced theological training that Pastor Maury and myself have. But I'll try and explain to you this very complicated portion of Scripture. It's very deep, the Scripture, very deep, yes. Where no oxen are, the manger is clean. Now let me explain that to you. What he's trying to say is if you have an ox, you're going to have ox poo. Now, if you don't like poo, and most people don't like poo, the temptation is to get rid of the ox. See, if you just get rid of the ox, you get rid of the problem, right? But then you run into the second part of the verse, which says this, but much increase comes by the strength of the ox. Well, now there's the catch-22. You see, everybody loves the benefit of the ox, just nobody likes the poo that goes along with it. But what he's trying to say is you cannot have one without the other. There is no such thing as a poo-free marriage. It does not exist, okay? Now, if all you get out of your marriage is poo, then you have one very sick ox. And I can help you with that. But this tonight and tomorrow night is not about how to get to a state of perfection in your marriage. This is just about how to get to a good positive to poo ratio. Okay? That's all this is. So just relax. For those of you not very spiritual, I have a mathematical version that might help you out. But it's all about the ratio. And listen, nothing in life goes perfectly, like this microphone. Can you make this a little louder in my monitor, wherever the magic man is back there? But nothing goes. I mean, your ability to succeed in any area of life will be in direct proportion to how well you handle the poo that goes along with it. It's great scripture for churches, by the way. A lot of poo in churches. But you got to love the people. That's where the strength comes from. But you got to just adapt, okay? People who freak out when life doesn't go, that's good, thanks. People who freak out when life doesn't go perfectly never get anywhere in life. You need to adapt, okay? That's all this is talking about. And this is completely true with marriage. It never goes perfectly. Who gets everything that they plan for? Nobody. You need to just adapt. Reminds me of a few years ago, I was invited to speak in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I came in on the Thursday night, getting ready for the conference on Friday. When I got into town at the last minute, the pastor who was hosting the conference said, hey, would you mind getting up early in the morning and coming to the TV studio and recording some programs with me? I said, oh, okay. So the next morning I got up at the last possible second, because that's what I do. I hate getting up early in the morning. And quick hopped into the shower and got all showered up and came out and started flipping through my suitcase trying to find my underwear. But I couldn't find my underwear. But I didn't panic. I can't find anything anyway. So I just hollered at my wife. I said, hey, Debbie. She goes, what? I said, where's my underwear? She said, oh, it's right in front of your face. You ever have this conversation? It's not just me. So I'm looking, well, I can't find them. She comes out, oh, for crying out loud. And she starts flipping through the suitcase. In about 10 seconds, she starts giggling. And I thought, oh, no. She says, I guess I forgot them. Oh, no, man, I don't have time for this. I had to get going. So I thought I'd just put on the pair that I had before. I mean, seriously, who's gonna check? So I picked them up, but they were all wet on the floor. And I didn't have time to air blow them out. So I had before me two choices. I know. Every dude I've ever shared the story with has said, dude, you only had the one choice. But it's early in the morning. I'm not thinking clearly, you know. So choice number one was to go au naturel. Thought that would get distracting after a while. And I looked down on the suitcase, and right there on top of the suitcase was a pair of white cotton underwear. It looked like any pair of regular white cotton underwear you'd see anywhere, except it had Victoria's Secret all the way around on the band. I'm like, it's gonna have to do. It's gonna have to do. I quick got dressed and took off. Well, about 5 miles down the road, it hits me. Dude, you are wearing women's underwear. And then I thought, what if I'm in an accident? I could picture myself on the side of the road as paramedics are desperately trying to save my life, holding onto my pants and yelling, "Let me die! Let me die!" I began to pray in earnest, oh Lord, please don't let me crash. Finally got to the TV studio and I start recording these programs, and you can appreciate the irony in my mind as I'm looking into the camera and I'm challenging the men at home to be real men. The whole time I'm in ladies' panties. It's like, oh, dude, that's a horrible day. But life doesn't always go the way you plan. You just got to adapt. So just everybody relax. We're not looking for perfection here, just trying to get a good positive to poo ratio. Now we're going to do a session right now entitled The Tale of Two Brains, hence the two brains, where we talk about how men and women tend to think very differently from each other. All right? Then we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and do what I call the Yo Mama session. It's called the #1 key to incredible sex. Hallelujah. So can a pastor talk about sex in church? Absolutely. God has seen you naked. He can handle it. I'd be mortified personally, but he's good with it. Then tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, we're going to do a session entitled, Why Does He Do That? Why does she do it? See, it's one thing to understand men and women in general, it's another to understand the one you got stuck with. And I'm going to help you with that. And then we're going to end with a session entitled, How to Stay Married and Not Kill Anybody. It's all very spiritual stuff. Now, I'm going to be speaking to you in basic stereotypes, okay? In other words, men generally tend to think a certain way. Women generally tend to think a certain way, but they don't all think that way. I get it. Don't have a cow. Just interpolate for your own relationship. Okay, part of the fun of this is trying to figure out where everybody fits. There's always exceptions. But I'll tell you this, if a guy thinks more like a woman in a certain area, take it to the bank. In that area, she'll think more like a guy. You never get couples who think the same. It's rather fascinating how this all works. Okay? So just general stereotype. For example, men are more interested in sex than their wives. Why would you say that? Because generally it's true, but it's not always true. There are lots of relationships where it is the wife who's much more interested in sex than her husband. If you're here tonight and you happen to be in a relationship where your wife is much more interested in sex than you, I think I speak for all the men here when I say that we hate you. Please do not share. All right, y'all ready to get started? Here we go. Men's brains, women's brains. Let's begin with the man's brains. Now, men's brains are made up of little boxes. We have a box for everything in life. Ladies, we compartmentalize compartmentalize life. That's what we do. We have a box for the house. We have a box for the job. We have a box for the kids. We have a box for the money. We have a box for you. We have a box for your mother somewhere in the basement. And the rule is very simple, ladies. The boxes do not touch. When a man discusses a particular subject, he goes to the appropriate box. He slides it out. He opens it up. He will freely discuss the contents of that particular box. And then when he's finished, he will fold it up and stick it away, being ever so careful not to touch nor disturb any of the other boxes. Because the boxes do not touch. Then we have the female brain. Now, the female brain is very different. You see, the female brain is made up of a big ball of wire. And it's like the information superhighway, the internet, where everything is connected to everything. And the house is connected to the kids, and the kids are connected to the job, and the job's connected to the money, and the money's connected to your mother, and she jumps from one thing to the other. I was thinking about this, and I saw it over the other day. La, 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 la. Because to her, everything's fair game. Because everything's connected somehow. The problem is her husband's listening to her going, "What box are you in, man? You don't jump from box to box," but she doesn't care. It's love. And she loves to connect things. The problem is, guys, she expects you to connect as well. But ladies, we do not connect. This is why women just won't clearly ask for what they want, lest it accidentally lead to communication. No, we can't have that. Heaven forbid. No. That's why she hints. She implies. She nudges. She thinks to herself, surely he's not brain dead. And he can make the connections. But we do not connect. If you want something for the love of heaven, just say it. Come on, man, give me a hooah. Good grief. Just going to dinner can be a trial and tribulation. Where you want to eat? I don't care. Let's go to that steak place. I hate that place. Well, let's get some barbecue. I don't feel like barbecue. Where do you want to eat? I don't care. Apparently you do. Of course, all of this is driven by energy. Gzzz. Energy that we call emotion. Gzzz. It's one of the reasons why women tend to remember everything. Because it's a scientific fact that if you take an event and you connect it to an emotion, it will burn into your memory and you can remember it forever. The same thing happens for men. It just doesn't happen very often because, quite frankly, we don't care. Women tend to care about everything. Now, we men have a box in our brains that most women are completely unaware of. This particular box has nothing in it. In fact, we call it the nothing box. And of all the boxes a man has in his brain, our nothing box is our favorite box. If a man has the opportunity, he'll go to his nothing box every time. This is why a man can do something seemingly completely brain dead for hours on end. You know, like fishing. That's why a man can sit in front of a TV set and go, of course, this drives our wives nuts, you know. Stop that. You can't possibly be watching anything. I'm not. Go away. Now, they've actually studied this. University of Pennsylvania, several years ago, did a study on men's and women's brains. They noticed differences, again, between men and women. One of the things they discovered about men, they said that men, in point of fact, have the ability to think about absolutely nothing and still breathe. Women's brains apparently never stop. They brought women into labs, wired them up, sitting there with nothing to do, watched their brain activity. That's why some of you can't sleep at night. And then they brought in the men and monitored their brains. They said up to 70% of a man's brain activity completely shuts down when he's relaxing. Ooh, oh yeah. You see, when a man is chilling out, he's chilling out. If a woman tells you she's chilling out, she's just cold. And women do not understand, nor do they comprehend, and they certainly do not appreciate the nothing box. In fact, nothing is quite as irritating to a woman than to witness a man doing nothing. How can you just sit there? Huh? And then she gets mad at him and stops talking to him. Or think this brilliant plan through. A woman, in an effort to punish a man, stops talking to him. That's like giving a bottle to a wino. I mean, she's over here thinking, I'm teaching him a lesson. And he's over here thinking, praise God, she's quiet. I must be doing something good. Until she explodes later. He has no idea what's going on. Women don't understand the nothing box. A woman will witness a man in that glorious vegetative state, and she'll come up to him and go, what you thinking about? Nothing. We gotta be thinking about something. There's women. I know you women, you get mad at your husbands. When you ask him, why do you think? And he says nothing. You get mad. It's because they're crazy. You know why they get mad at us, guys? They are convinced we are withholding from them some deep emotional truth. No, there's nothing there. Now, this affects how men and women handle stress, because when a man is feeling stressed, the last thing in the world he wants to do is talk about it. He doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to go to his nothing box. Chill out. Right, guys? That's how we handle stress. Clear the mind. Clear the mind. Quit thinking about it. But women are very different. When a woman is stressed, she must talk about it. In fact, if she doesn't talk about it, her brain will explode. Actually, an interesting heart study, maybe some of you in the medical field read about this, I don't know, it's about 3 years or so now, it came out of the UK. Big study on heart health. Again, notice big differences between men and women. One of the things they discovered about women, in their study, they said when a woman is frustrated or stressed, if she is not allowed to verbalize her frustration, it will literally physically damage her heart and increase her risk of stroke and heart attack. Isn't that amazing? I mean, when she acts like she's going to die if she doesn't talk. All right, she's going to die if she doesn't talk. Because when you start talking, it makes no sense to us. And then guys get caught into this trap. It's a trap. We try to offer suggestions. Don't do that. She doesn't want suggestions. See, because a man only shares his troubles with another man when he wants that man to fix it. That's what we do. We're men. Somos hombres. But she's not a man. You try and fix her, she's going to kill you. I don't know what happened, officer. I was just holding the knife, and he ran into it. Yes, sir, 13 times. I'm lucky to be alive. She does not want your suggestions. She does not want your insights. She doesn't want you to fix anything. She wants you to shut up and listen. Because when she starts talking through her frustration, she starts connecting the wires, she finds a solution, and goes, thank you, and she'll go away. Of course, you're left there going. Okay, now check it out. Because they love each other, they offer to each other their best solution to stress. A man can tell that his wife is stressed. He loves the girl. He cares about the girl, so he offers to her his best and finest solution to stress. Or just quit thinking about it. Of course, she thinks he's being an insensitive monster, but he's not. That's the best we got. Because it works for us. Quit thinking about it. But women are just as guilty. A woman can tell that her husband is stressed. She loves the boy. She cares about the boy. So she offers to him her best solution to stress. Talk to me. Why would you talk to me? Go away. He doesn't want to talk to you. Leave him alone. It's not get all twisted inside with his emotions. Men's brains, women's brains also affects the way that we talk. Now they say, of course nobody really knows who they are, but they say that if a man needs to use 10,000 words in a day, a woman needs to use 20,000 words in a day. My wife says, it's because we got to repeat everything we say. To which I responded, huh? Where's my redhead? Here she is. Give her a hand, would you, ladies and gentlemen? It's my wife, Debbie. AKA the redhead. We're getting ready to celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary. What a lucky girl. We have 2 children and 5 glorious little grandchildren with a 6th one on the way. Is that cool? How many of y'all are grandparents? Is it not the most wonderful experience in life? It truly is. It is God's reward for not killing your children. I want you to see our boys. These are the 4 little monkeys. And then this lady is very new to the family. She's the princess. And you know what she gets? Anything she wants. Give her a hand. People always ask, doesn't she talk too? Nope. I mean, she'll talk to you. She'll be back at the tables and stuff. She just doesn't like to speak in front of people. She's a normal human being. They've actually studied this. They say it's people's greatest fear to speak in front of a crowd. Isn't that amazing? They say they fear it more than death. I guess the worst would be having to give a speech at your own execution. Terrible day, just terrible, terrible day. 40 years ago, Pretty cool. 30 years, at our 30th wedding anniversary, my son Philip called me up. He says, "Hey, Dad, 30 years, congratulations." I said, "Thank you, son." And then he goes, "No, really, that's a long time." I said, "Yeah, but it seems like 10 minutes. He said, "Really?" I said, "Yep, 10 minutes underwater." Oh, relax. All the ladies, "What a terrible thing to say, what a horrible..." It's just a joke from the joke box. It's not connected to anything.
Yes, it is. I know it is. I know.
Not only do men and women use different amounts of words, words themselves can mean totally different things to men and women. For example, 5 minutes. Now, to most men, 5 minutes actually means 5 minutes. To a lot of women, it's an indefinite period of time. You ready yet?
5 more minutes.
Now, as we have shared, men love, cherish, and appreciate nothing. Women don't understand nothing. If a woman tells you it's nothing, look out, it's something. "Hey, dude, I think I'm in trouble." "Why, what happened?" I don't know, I think she's mad." "What'd she say?" "She said it's nothing." "Get out, man, run! This one's not actually a word, but it's a vocalization. We'll put it in parentheses. It's a sigh. Now, when a man sighs, it means everything is good with life. When a woman sighs, it means you are an idiot. Go ahead. Now, when a man says go ahead, he's being polite. When a woman says, go ahead, that's a dare, all right? And you have to be very careful with how you proceed, gentlemen, because it will most likely be followed by a sigh, which will lead to an argument about nothing. And then you won't have sex again for at least 5 minutes. Men's brains, women's brains also affects the way that we listen. Because now women accuse men of having selective listening. You know what that is? That's when a woman will say something like this: "Honey, go to the store, lay down the mulch, wash and wax the car, get the kids at school, rent some videos, and finish the rest of the dishes." And then he runs that through his filter, and in fact, what he hears is, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is what I call the difference between single tasking and multitasking. Now, these are generalities, but they are generally true. Now, generally speaking, men are single taskers. We do one thing at a time. Now, we can do it very, very well. It's one of the reasons that men can succeed very much in career and business, because of his ability to focus on one task and perfect the task. A man will usually rise to the top of any profession, even those traditionally dominated by women. Some of the best hair designers in the world are men. Some of the best cooks in the world are men. On and on it goes. Why? Because of a man's ability to focus on one thing, perfect that thing, and knock out all other distractions. We are single taskers. Now, women, on the other hand, tend to be multitaskers. They juggle many balls at once. A woman has an amazing ability to keep many things going at the same time. Even at home, a woman can be watching television, reading a book, and talking on the phone all at the same time. And know where her 3 children are and what they're doing at any given moment. Whereas a man is just vaguely aware there are some little people walking around. Now, this is reflected physically in men and women and the way that their eyes are designed. You see, men's eyes are designed kind of like mini binoculars. Great for the hunting and the focusing and the gathering that we've done throughout the ages. But like binoculars, unless a man's eyes fall right on what he's looking for, he can't see it. Now, women's eyes tend to be designed like wide-angle lenses, much more of that kind of, she tends to notice the details right away. She can walk into a room and go, ah, doesn't he notice this place? Actually, no. But she does. This is why a man can stand in front of a cupboard and go, hey, where's the salt? And she'll say, it's right in front of your face. I can't see it. And then she comes over and as if by voodoo magic, pulls it out of thin air. It's right here. Now, this does not make women superior to men. It just makes us different. It's also one of the reasons why for many women, not all, but many women have such a difficult time reading a road map because of the way she processes visual information. You see, when a man looks at a road map, the minute he sees where he is and where he wants to go, all the other lines disappear to us. We don't even see them. But when a woman looks at a road map, she tends to see all the lines at once. That's why you can be driving along going, where are we? I don't know. There's too many lines. Now, this does not make men superior to women. It just makes us different. And it's like that when it comes to this area of listening. Because what a lot of women do not understand about men is that as a single taskers, ladies, when a man is doing something, generally speaking, he doesn't hear jack squat. If a man is doing something, girls, don't be giving him vital information. Because you'll be having this conversation again later. See, women don't have this problem. A woman can be in a crowded room, involved in a conversation, and track the details of 2 other conversations around her at the same time. It's creepy what you do, actually. So they don't process this. So that's why a woman can walk in the kitchen in the morning, her husband is reading the morning paper, she assumes I can multitask, therefore he can multitask, so she starts talking to him. But he's not hearing anything you're saying. If you truly want him to hear what you're saying, remember, he's a single tasking computer running the newspaper reading program. You have to go over and close the newspaper reading program and load the Listen to Me program. But you need to wait a minute. He needs to reboot. I didn't know you was here. Now, boys, you're big boys. If you can tell your wife is trying to talk to you, stop doing what you're doing. Look at the girl, get the information, then you can go back to doing what you're doing. You'll find life will be much kinder to you. I used to do this because I am a classic single tasker. I'm bad. I do one thing at a time. I'm so bad, I'll be going along and suddenly just forget the one thing I was doing. It's like my hard drive skips a groove or something. But I've discovered where the reset button is. Apparently it's my butt. Because I'll go back to where I started and go, man, I have absolutely no idea what I was doing. Oh, I remember that. You know, it's like it resets your brain or something. So I'm a bad single tasker. So when my wife would start talking, I go, whoa, wait. What did you say? And then I'd get the info, and then I'd go back to what I was doing. And I started doing much better. But inevitably, I still kept getting myself in trouble. She'd walk up to me and say, it's 6 o'clock, are you ready? For what? I told you. No, you didn't. Yes, I didn't. Off to the races we'd go. Some of you had that conversation tonight. We're going to what? I don't remember anything. What? And she would swear, I told you. And I had absolutely no recollection of ever hearing her. The woman was convincing me I was going deaf. So I went to the doctor to get my ears tested. True story. I walk in to see the doctor. He says, how you doing? I said, okay. He said, what seems to be the problem? I said, I think I'm losing my hearing. He said, well, you're getting up there in age, and ears are one of the first things to go. I thought, well, as long as that's one of the first. Talk about that in the next session. He said, well, go in there with Nurse Cratchit. She'll test your ears. All right, so I walked in there with Nurse Cratchit. We got in there, and she's got a box on a table with some little knobs and some cheap headphones. She said, here, put on the headphones and turn around. When you hear the beep, raise your hand. I said, okay. So we began. Pretty soon she goes, really, you can hear all that? I turn around, she's hitting the box. I said, what's wrong? She said, this thing is busted. I said, why do you say that? She said, according to this, you can hear what cats and dogs can hear. This thing is clearly not working. She said, we need to send you to a specialist. You know, they have those soundproof rooms and all the expensive equipment. So she gets on the phone, and she calls the specialist, which is right next door. Now, this is when we first moved to Green Bay, Wisconsin. We didn't know anything yet. But in right downtown Green Bay is this place called Eye and Ear Associates. I'd never heard of them before, had no reason to hear about them. When she gets off the phone, she says, oh, great, I have good news. They have an opening. They can take you right away. I said, good, good. So she took the doctor's pad and she wrote down Eye, Ear, and Abbreviated Associates and handed it to me. I said, what kind of doctor is this? True story. And she said, why do you ask? I said, well, I've heard of eye, ear, and throat. I've never heard of this combination. She said, let me see that. She, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. So she wrote out associates. I went, okay. Thought I was going to be in for a very uncomfortable test there for a minute, you know. Might feel a little cramping. Doctor talk for exquisite pain. Cramping. So I went next door to the eye, ear, and butt doctor, and I got in there, and they put me in a soundproof room, and the lady's behind the glass, and she pushes the button. Okay, sir, put on the headphones and turn around. When you hear the beep, raise your hand. Okay. So we began. I kid you not, she goes, really, you can hear all that? I felt like an idiot. I took the printout to the doctor. He's in his 30s. He took a look. He says, what are you doing here? You got better ears than me. So I don't know. She says, 6 o'clock. Are you ready? I don't know what she's talking about. So I'm home. Wife said, what do the doctors say? I said, well, they say I can hear what cats and dogs can hear. She said, you just don't pay attention. But I'd been paying attention. I thought, what in the world? I was very confused. The next morning, she's standing next to me in the kitchen talking. And I thought, I want to do my own test. I'm just going to sit here and watch how far away she gets before I can't hear her anymore. So she's standing next to me. Blah, 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 blah. I can hear her fine. She gets a little bit further away. Blah, 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 blah. I can hear her fine. She gets to the end of the kitchen. Blah, 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 blah. I can hear her fine. But then I watch as she continues the conversation walking into the next room. Blah, 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 and then into another. She's now in another room on the other side of the house, still talking to me. I watch her again the next morning. This time she's standing at the foot of the stairs. I'm just smiling because I can see what's coming. She's in this multitask mode. She starts talking, la, 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 and she starts climbing the steps. She gets on another floor. She enters another. She's now in another room on another floor, giving me vital information. And there's always a test later. That's when it dawned on me. Wait one cotton-picking, stinking minute here. Girls, this is not all on us. Now, we may be single taskers and the frustration that brings. I understand. But this is not all our fault. Because you women tend to be such multitaskers. Whether or not your husband can physically hear you seems to be of little interest to you. Do you know why, guys? Because all they know is that they said it. Yes, in the magical kingdom in which they live, when they speak, all the forest animals rush in to help her clean the house while she sings, la, 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 la. Hey, Snow White, cut us a break. It would be helpful if the man could actually hear you. This is not all on us. Now, I shared this story a few months later at a men's conference. I thought it was just a funny thing that happened to me. But as I'm sharing the story with this room full of men, all their heads start going. At the break, I had all these guys come up to me. One guy comes up to me and says, you know what, Pastor? My wife will be kneeling in front of the dryer, talking to me and stick her head in the dryer. You better pay attention or you're going to be in big trouble if you don't forget to take this. And I mean it. One guy comes up to me and says, you know what, Pastor? He said, what you're talking about there? He says, I'll be in the toilet. The door is closed. The fan is on. And she's still talking to me. This is not all on us. By the way, gentlemen, you can really tell you're married to a multitasker when during a moment of intimate passion, she suddenly blurts out, oh, by the way, the plumber says the toilets are broken. Focus, woman, focus! If she can make love to you, think about toilets, plan next week's dinner, just la 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 la. Men's brains, women's brains. Probably the most famous song ever written by about brains comes from The Wizard of Oz. Well, Janet decided to write some different lyrics for us.
And it starts with the woman. We would make a reservation and have some conversation. Go walking in the rain. Then you'd ask, then you'd listen. We'd be passionately kissing if you only had my brain. You'd like sports and History Channel and let me wear my flannel. You'd love electric trains. You'd accept I'm not a dancer, understand a shortened answer if you only had my brain. Oh, I could sit and cry and tell you who and what and when and where and try to unravel my emotions deep inside. And then you'd stop and ask me why. I would not be just just nothing. My box is full of stuff, and you'd be my biggest fan. And believe in all my dreaming, even if you're not agreeing, if you only had my brain. Oh, we'd go to games. You'd know the stats of all the players and their names. And then we'd stop and have a meal of supersize. And you would even order fries. You would never, ever tire of me connecting wires as we walk down shady lanes. You would know and be trusting even if I told you nothing, if you only had my brain. No more confrontation, we'd have real communication. If you only had my brain.
Janet Planet. Thank you, Janet. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and do the Yo Mama session. Show you some of the things on the table back there. This is our #1 t-shirt for men. It says, "Don't bother me. I'm in my nothing box." Who got a text? You're winner #1. Look at your phones. Of course, we make you shut them off, so you probably didn't see the text. There are several winners out there, so check and look. Do we know who #1 is? Yell. That's not yelling. That's raising your hand like a good girl. All right, come. Let's make your husband come get it. All right, there you go. Ah, see if you can grab it. Sorry, there you go. Okay. Now, we also have a CD by Janet. All the songs that you've heard tonight will be on this CD, as well as some others. Very well done, and the piano player is just truly, truly amazing. Who's winner #2? Bless you, darling. There you go. There you go. Fabulous. All right. We also have the seminar on DVD. Now, are you #3? All right, come on up here. Great. Now, this looks like one DVD, but when you open it up, you'll see it's actually 4 DVDs. It's an expanded version of what you're hearing tonight. You just heard 45 minutes of a 2-hour presentation on here. Okay, next you're going to hear about 45 minutes of an hour and a half on here. It's more extended. We don't take the time on the weekend to do it all. But you can check it out. It's also very, very funny. Great gift for anybody who's getting married. There you go. Thank you, dear. Okay, and then we've been carrying this book by this brilliant new author by the name of, it's me. It's called Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage. Now, this is not a transcription of the seminar. Lots of people do it. It's perfectly legitimate. A lot of preachers do it. They'll preach a sermon series. Someone will take it, transcribe it, turn it into a book. Perfectly legit. But that's not what we did. A lot of times that kind of sounds spoken and not written. We started from scratch, wrote this and approached it strictly as a book. And in this book, we show you how and why men and women think the way they do. We show you the studies behind it. We show you the scriptures that even support it. And while every relationship book has a chapter on sex, I have 6. Who's winner #4? Wow. You scored. Is this your husband? Oh, not your husband. Oh, just next. I was going to say, that was pretty lucky. Wow. There you go. Bless you. Thank you. Bless you. There's also some other winners, but we'll catch you after the break. If you would like to get in on it, you'll see the texting information. If you'll do that, you can be entered for the drawing. So anyway, we're going to take a break about 20 minutes or so. Y'all having fun? Yeah. All right. We'll be back in a little bit. See ya.